For a price of 1,500 pesos or $30, I would say the Zeta 87 is the best keyboard in terms of build quality and stock acoustics. But I have one issue with its keycaps and the box contents. We will go through that today. One of the reviews about this keyboard says that the LED isn't as bright as they want it to be. But to me, it works just fine. One of the things I like about this keyboard is its recessed keys. As you can see, you don't see the switches at the side, at the front, or even at the back. And that is because of a bezel it's got on top to cover the plate of this keyboard. It was pretty easy to tear this keyboard down. There's only one screw that holds the case, the plate, and the bezel all together. Now, that's not an issue for me because the bezel locks in with the case over here at the back and in the front. So I have no issues with its build quality so far. So the main components of this keyboard is pretty simple. You've got the case, the bezel, the PCB, the plate, the switches, and the keycaps. But boy, does it have some weight. As I said earlier, its build quality is just the best. If you bend it, there is no flex. There is a very little creaks that you would hear, of course. It's something you would expect in almost all products, except if it's made out of metal. So far, I think this keyboard will be able to take quite of a beating. Okay, so enough about its build quality. Let's talk about the switches. So, the seller promised you would get Aotemu switches with this, which they delivered. Yes, you would get Aotemu switches. The brown switches that I got have a branding of GTMX, which is also one of the product lines made by Aotemu. The GTMX switches were just a pain in the ass to remove. What I mean by that is you would literally pull a switch out, and once it snaps off, it would come flying across the room. That's how difficult it was to pull the switches out. One of the issues I've also had here is that when I pulled one of the switches out, it took the hot swap socket out of the PCB. In other words, I had to resolder that into the PCB. And that is why I like soldered switches. And with that said, if you have the budget, learn to solder. Okay, now let's head over to the pros and the reasons why you want to buy this product. Number one, it's hot swappable. Very good for beginners to try out different switches, as I said a while ago. Another is that it's got very good stock acoustics, but still the Red Dragon Fizz K617 wins this round of stock acoustics. For the third pro, you would get this with a detachable cable. Plus, you would get some canals underneath. You could cable manage with this keyboard. And the last two pros, it's got no branding anywhere, so it's very clean, very neat, and it's easy to tear it down. Now let's talk about the cons and my issue with this keyboard. Once you open the box, you do not get a manual. And then, if you look at the keys, there are no printings, so you don't know what other keys function as the play button, the pause, the stop. You're not really sure about that. Another is that the menu key beside Alt and function key right here works as the Windows key. They advise you to download a software to remap how this menu key works. So would I recommend the Zeta 87 to you guys? I would. That's if you do not care about media keys or the menu key. If you are the type of person who wants to play around with keyboards, this is a hot swap keyboard. So you can definitely play around with this one. Would I sell this? I might. I don't know. We'll see. This is Biboyharanero. I'll see you guys next time.